everyone, and welcome to another Hatch live stream. Big shout out thank you to Terry, who is always our number one person who is waiting in the chat for me. I have a little countdown timer, and honestly, I'm looking at my countdown timer, but I always know it's almost live time when Terry jumps up in the chat and says hi from the Netherlands. So thank you so much for being there. It's such a great thing to see the familiar faces every week coming along. So thank you so much. Today we're going to be talking many things Christmas in July, but I just have a few little bits of housekeeping before we get there. So number one, we are in a lovely office here at the Wilcom offices, but the offices above us are currently being renovated. Apparently they are hammering just above me today, so apologies if you get a little bit of extra background noise there. I'm so sorry for that. I am doing my best. I have my little lapel mic on, so hopefully it kind of cuts down that noise for you. So apologies for that. Also, our team is a little scattered today. We have people in different locations, so some of the links and things for the live stream might be a little slow getting to you. If we miss any, don't panic. What I'm going to do is at the end of the live stream, I'm going to add them to the show notes. So on YouTube in particular, they're going to be down below. All the links will be there for you. So in YouTube, you'll often get the chat replay after a couple of hours, but then you'll actually get the links in it. So if it's there as well, so just keep an eye out for those if we miss anything along the way. It looks like I do have some of the remote team in. So hi, and hi to Marsha. It is sounding, I just spoke with Victoria, so it's very exciting to speak with some more people from as well. And hello to Michigan as well. Everyone's popping into the chat. I love seeing where you're all coming from. Here in Sydney today, winter has decided to hang around a little longer, which I'm a little sad about because I really like springtime. So there's lots of different things happening there as well. But I think that is all of my housekeeping things. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, one extra thing. We have people asking all of the time, can we do our live streams so that as I speak, we actually get them in different languages? Now, this is something I can't enable on Facebook, but I have been trying to enable it on YouTube. So today, hopefully, if you turn your closed captions to whatever language you would like to see the Hatch live in, it should work. Unfortunately, this is something we cannot test until I'm actually live. So I can't guarantee it's definitely worked for you, but I have been trying hard in the background to make that work for you. So hopefully we do get that happening for you. If it doesn't happen today, I'm going to keep working at that to make sure that you can watch the live streams in whichever language that you wish to listen in. They will be auto-translated. So sometimes with my Australian accent, some words get a little bit mangled up in the translation. So we're going to keep working on it, but we will see what happens there. And we've got some more people in the chat today coming from California and Ontario and from Washington State. I hope you're all having a great day, and some people from Tennessee as well. So that's really great. Oh, and we've got Gail back in from South Australia. Always lovely to see our Australians popping in as well. So we have lots of great things to talk about today, but one of the things we're going to be doing is Christmas in July. So we're going to be talking about how to stitch onto cardstock today. So we've got some hints and tips, and what I would really like everyone to do is on the Hatch website, you can sign up to the Hatch newsletter, which means that when we give out the free designs, which will be coming soon, you will actually get access to that. So the other thing that you will find on the Hatch website at the moment is we currently are having a FlexPay sale. So for anyone who doesn't currently own Hatch and wishes to get Hatch, what the FlexPay sale will allow you to do is to spread out the payment. So FlexPay doesn't mean it's a subscription. What it means is that each month you will pay a set amount, and at the end of the 12 months, you completely outright own Hatch. So that would mean that you could actually get that for you. But with the FlexPay sale, one of the months is going to be on us. So you get a little bit of a discount there. All of the details are on the Hatch website, so they will all be in there as well. So we've also got some people in from Rosewood in Queensland, from Northeast Victoria, from Quebec. We've got some Sydney-siders in. Hello, hope you're enjoying this cold wind today. And we have more people from Quebec as well. Lots of people coming in from Canada. So hello to all of our friendly Canadians out there. All right, let's jump in and start talking about cardstock though. So we have our very beautiful Christmas cards, which I'm just going to lean out of shot and grab. So we have done a little selection of cards for you. So we have some Christmas baubles, a Christmas tree, and some stars, and they have all been stitched out onto regular cardstock for you. So for any of the Australians, we got our cards from Kmart, but other places are available. What we did was we made sure that it was a very standard blank cardstock so that you could go to any stationery store or big box store, even possibly like the Dollar Tree and things like that, and you'll be able to find cards like this to be able to stitch on. It is, like I said, nothing fancy. It's just regular cardstock. It's not very thick or anything like that. So what you'll find with the cardstock is we have done some preparation for it. So what I actually did was I actually filmed myself doing the preparation, and now I'm going to talk you through that as I show you. So here I've got my iron, and what I'm showing is I really want to make sure you turn the steam off on your iron. Please do not use the steam function on your iron with the cardstock. And I have some regular interfacing. So interfacing, not stabilizer. But my interfacing is an iron-on interfacing. And what I'm going to do is I've taken my square of interfacing, I'm going to lie it so it is glue side down. And with its wing one glue side down, when we iron it into position, it sticks to the card. What this interfacing does is it acts to help stabilize the actual cardboard so that the card doesn't tear as we stitch on it. So here I am just ironing nice and lightly with quite a high-ish heat. And what I'm making sure is that it has adhered correctly. By adhering correctly, it means it's just not peeling off. That's the easy way to actually tell that. So I did it to a whole bunch at the one time, but I only showed me doing it on one. And what you'll find on that is that once you've adhered your interfacing, it just helps everything stitch out a little bit better. So what I just wanted to mention is that interfacing is different to stabilizer. So here, obviously with embroidery, we're very used to stabilizers, and stabilizers work in many different ways across many different fabrics. Interfacing is very similar. We most often use it in garment sewing, sometimes bag sewing as well. But the iron-on interfacing, the one I used is a non-woven interfacing and a non-knitted interfacing. So it's just a really basic one. And the reason I chose that one is those ones are most often applied without steam. Some of the very beautiful interfacings that we use for things like tailoring and when we're making gorgeous coats and things like that, you actually need steam to make the glue activate to make it stick. That is not what we want for cards because steam obviously is water. We don't want to add any water molecules to the cards because it will make our cards ripple. So if you are unsure, what I would always suggest is if you are buying online or if you're lucky enough to be able to go in store, is there's quite often a little tag wrapped around the interfacing, or sometimes it's written on the end of the bolt or the roll. So just you're looking for non-woven interfacing that is iron-on, that does not require steam. So hopefully that kind of helps you out. You don't need a lot of it unless you're planning a huge production run of cards, but it is one of those things that it does really, really help out the rest of the process. So before we jump into the rest of the process, what I wanted to mention here with our cards is that when we have digitized all of our cards, and they were all digitized by our head digitizer here at Wilco, they are all done with a single run stitch. And the reason we have gone with a single run stitch is because if you go with too many stitches, or even if we do a triple or things like that, you can actually perforate your card and the whole thing falls apart. The interfacing definitely helps with making sure that the perforation is lessened. So that is one thing we did. The second thing we did was we changed our needle in our embroidery machine down to a 75 weight needle. So a 75 is a nice fine point and actually means that the shaft of the needle is slightly smaller so that the needle penetration, the actual hole it makes in the card, is smaller. Did it make a huge difference in the stitching out? Not really. Did it make a big difference in the way the card looked? Yes, it did. So if you are stitching on something that is heavier, perhaps you don't need to do that. If you're just working with a regular cardstock and you want quite a light and delicate look, I would definitely recommend going with that 75 needle, because it really did make a big difference. Because now, instead of seeing the holes that the needle created, we're actually seeing the stitching. So do think about those two things as ways to elevate up your stitch out, and that can actually happen as well. Hello to everyone in the chat who has joined us from Phoenix and from Illinois. I hope you're all having a wonderful day there as well. All right, so our next one is I've actually got the stitch out of the card, so I'm going to take you through that one. So these are our 3 cards. I photographed them alongside our Christmas trees, which was our giveaway on our blog for last Christmas. So if you didn't get a chance to make the directional Christmas trees, be sure to jump along to the blog and you can check them out there. So here what we've done is I've hooped up a stabilizer. This is a non-tearaway stabilizer, so a regular stabilizer. And what I am doing is I am adding some double-sided tape to the actual ones. So I'm also doing something in the background here. So what I've actually done here is I am adding in my double-sided tape so that I can tape my card down so that it moves less inside of my hoop. So the lines, so the rectangle you can actually see is the same rectangle as the shape of one side of the card. And as I've gone to put this card in for actual testing, here in the background, what you can't hear is my going wrong way round because I was about to stitch on the back of the card. So do think about which way you want your card to open because I totally would have got that wrong and we would have had an upside down card. So I've lined it up so that I can put the edges into that initial rectangle we have laid down, and then I've just pressed down hard so it will stick onto the double-sided tape that I have used. You can see that it took me a little bit of time to get that double-sided tape to stick. Sometimes double-sided tape doesn't like sticking to our stabilizer, so you just want to make sure that you've pressed it in nice and tight so that it doesn't move so much. Now, as it stitches, to avoid too many run stitches and too many joins, which again would perforate out our embroidery on our card, what we're doing is after each run, Mai has actually digitized it so that it has a little stop in it, so that it will do the extra pieces going together and will actually stop and come back to each other each time. So this is a really great way to ensure that you're not going to accidentally create a knot underneath your cardstock, but it also means that the in and out points of the actual stitching are very clean looking, because unlike fabrics where when we stitch it sort of can sink into the fabric and you can hide some of those join points a little bit better, we can't do that so much on our cardstock. So what we've done is actually added in the little movements so that it will actually do this. And this is a really nice way to treat it so that you really get that really clean kind of look, particularly when we're working with the line work on the cards. It just makes it look so much prettier. So today I haven't actually sped this film up. You're actually seeing this one in real time. Sometimes when I show things on the live stream, you get to see it in incredibly speedy time. But I thought the cards are actually so fast because while they have quite a lot of coverage, because of the line work, they're actually quite like the opposite of stitch dense, which I don't know if there's an actual word for that, stitch light, I guess. So they're quite light in their stitching and come out quite easily. If you wanted to know more on the specifics of actually digitizing it out, more than the information we are going to give you today, there's actually a class inside the Hatch Academy which takes you through how to digitize a card. It has lots of great information, as do so many of the classes within inside the Academy. So you can always jump across there if you need a little bit more a little bit more information or want to try it out a little bit more. And this is one of the things that we actually wanted to do for our Christmas in July. We actually wanted to show you things that you can make in advance so that when it gets to Christmas, it's not a big rush and you can sort of ease your way into Christmas because you've already made your cards back in July, which gives you plenty of time to get them into the post if you are posting them or to make all of them for the family. We have some extra people jumping in from Western Australia. Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day there. For many people, if you are not familiar with Australia, they often think it's quite a small country because, like, if you look at a map, it looks quite little. But when we have to go to Western Australia, that's a long, long way away. So it's always lovely to see someone pop in from a different state in Australia because quite often it is a different time zone. So it's always lovely to have people from all over Australia join us in. And we have some more people from Illinois. We're very popular with Illinois today. So thank you all for coming so much. So as we've been welcoming more people to the chat, our card has been stitching away for us. And you can see even with the lettering, we have made it so that the lettering is very light, but quite bold because we've made it a little bit bigger. It's actually one of our built-in fonts in Hatch, and it's one of the quilting ones actually. So don't forget, if you are looking for fonts, there are tons that are built in for Hatch. And one of the things someone often asks after the live stream is, can you do things about 3D puff? It's a very popular question and we have tucked that idea away. We will be talking about that at some point. But one thing to note is in the additional fonts that you can purchase for Hatch is there is actually a 3D font in there. So if you are really desperate for a 3D font, that is a great way to go and get it. So here on my card, I'm just doing some little bit extra trimming and I'm going to take it out from underneath the machine. I do love these new hoops on the Brother machine because it makes it very easy to slide them out when I've got a camera right in front. So there is our card all done. So as you can see, it wasn't a very long stitch out. That was actually quite quickly. So we actually did quite a few yesterday. It was quite easy to stitch them out. So you could actually do a little bit of a production run with them and get them going. So we kept our bobbin as normal, so regular bobbin thread. And then we have gone with just different colors on the top as well. And a big hi to Lindy, who's come in from Tucson. For those of you who don't know, sometimes you'll hear Lindy in our academy classes. So thanks so much for dropping in today. It's lovely to see you here. So what I have done is I actually have some extra ones that I have stitched out for you. So I've got some more hints and tips. So I'm going to jump straight in for those. But before I do, one of the things I wanted to mention is our Hatch Academy, and don't forget it comes as an app. So with the app, you can sign in with the regular sign-in that you sign in with your Hatch. So what will happen is you can get access to all of your lessons there. I really love that feature where you can sign in and it recognizes you because I'll be reading away on my phone, and then when I get back to my desktop and I want to continue on with the lesson, it's like, do you wish to continue? And I'm like, yes, I would like to continue. So it is a really great function in there, and it comes on Google Play Store and the App Store, so you can download that app for yourselves as well. So that one's a great thing. Don't miss out on what is in the Academy. It makes Hatch so much more enjoyable because you can see the possibilities of what you can do. All right, so we will jump back into our Christmas cards though. So this is what it looks like when I have taken it out of the hoop. So it's still attached to the stabilizer, and I am going to trim away my stabilizer. So I'm just lifting up the edge of my card and cutting along that actual stitch line that we created at the very beginning, so that rectangular stitch line. And as you can see, I was finding it a little tricky yesterday. So what I decided to do was actually take away the double-sided tape, because the double-sided tape was holding it very well in position, which is exactly what it needed to do while I was stitching. But I don't need that in the card. So once I've got the double-sided tape out of the way, it made it so much easier. So if you are finding that you are struggling with that as well, take out the tape. It made it a lot easier to get the scissors in there and clean that up. Now, as I'm cutting away here, you can see that the inside of the card looks nice in terms of it's stitched out well, but it's a little bit messy if you want to give this card to someone. What we can suggest here is you could cut a lovely piece of decorative paper, which you could lay inside the card and then just attach with like a glue stick or something like that, just to help cover that up. It's a really nice way to just make it look a bit cleaner. I always enjoy, I get Christmas cards from one of my family members, and the inside of the card, they always let the kids draw on it. And it's really fantastic because you actually see from like really kind of like little kid scribbles all the way up to them actually being able to draw like the family and things that they do. So that could be a really cute little way to get the kids involved, as well as if you wanted to add a drawing to that inside, and you could just sticky tape it down or glue it on down, and it would just clear up that inside, but also add yet another personalized touch to the cards that you are making yourself. And I actually went back in and trimmed off some of those extra threads as well. So I thought I would show another one stitching out, just so we can go through the steps that we would use if you are digitizing your own. So if you're digitizing your own, our first step is we're going to add in this rectangle. The rectangle is the same size as 1/2 of your actual card. So once we've done that, we actually did that so it was actually meant to stitch in a separate color. So it would mean that the machines would stop. If you're working on a multi-needle machine, you might have to also remember to actually push stop there if you can't build a stop into your particular brand of machine. I'm adding in my double-sided tape. That back one is proving tricky for me because it was right at the back and it wasn't underneath the machine, so I had nothing to stick down to. It didn't want to press into position, but I got there in the end. And now I'm just sliding the card into place. Again, I have interfaced my card so that I've prepared it ready for the stitch out. And now we are ready to go. Once you're ready, when you're digitizing this, keep in mind you want your stitching to be a single row of stitching. And you want it to have, like having trims in this is not a bad thing. Like I know often when we're digitizing and we want to try and get it as efficient as possible, we want to try and minimize trims. Here, trims are not actually a bad thing because they're helping us keep a design nice and clean. So unlike other designs where we have drawn all of our lines, selected them all, and then maybe we've done something like applied branching or applied red work, we don't actually want to do that here because we don't want multiple lines of stitching underneath these ones. We very definitely only want these single lines of stitching. So when you are thinking about digitizing it, think about things as individual lines instead of how we would normally think about it, which is how many things can I connect together at the one time to make it more efficient. So just a little bit of a change of mindset there on your actual stitch out there. And hello to Florida. I've been speaking to so many people from Florida this morning, both personally and professionally. So it's really nice to see some more people coming in from Florida today. All right. Sorry, brief pause there. I just had to a quick mouthful of water so I could continue talking. So as I was saying, when we are digitizing for our cards, we really want to think about keeping our stitches light, single lines, and making an impact with the design. So this particular tree was inspired by some Bauhaus artwork that I really love. And I kind of fell in a hole of looking at a whole bunch of mid-century modern style Christmas decorations, which inspired this kind of whole set. And I did up all the artwork and then handed it across to Mai, who came back again and was like, this looks fantastic. We need to change to decrease some of our line work and ensure that we have a little bit lighter so that when it stitches out, it works beautifully. And as mentioned, the actual font here is one of our quilting fonts, which is built into Hatch. So that one was stitched out a little bit faster than actual real time. That was just a little bit faster, but mostly almost all the cards, including the kind of setup, is under 5 minutes per stitch out, which is really quite fast. And it does mean that you can actually do all of your Christmas cards in this way. And like once you send a card, no one knows if they've all got the same design. So you could just like set yourself up like a little production run of it, which would be really, really fun. So what we're going to try and do from now until Christmas time is on the 25th of each month, we're actually going to count down to Christmas, and we're going to give you suggestions of things such as Christmas cards that you could actually make. And they're mostly geared at things that you could make to give away or to send away as you would with your cards. So the cards are actually going to be included in an upcoming blog post, which means you will get access to all of these designs for free. So be sure to sign up to the Hatch blog for that and the Hatch newsletter. So if you go to the Hatch main website, you can just scroll down. I think it's about 3/4 of the way down. Sign yourself up to the newsletter, and then you're going to get that blog post when it is ready, sent directly to you. So that would be the first one. Some of the other things, we're going to point you towards different things that you could make that are academy classes or projects within the academy, and then we're going to try and share some other things. And while we know that everyone doesn't celebrate Christmas, it was more about using Hatch to create things that you want to give away or things that you might wish to have in your own home in particular. So it's not necessarily, they're not all going to be Christmas themed. They're just mostly things that you can give to people. So I personally love Christmas and mostly because I make all of my presents, and it's a really fun thing. I start my list in normally in December of the year before, and then I just work my way down it for everyone, and I stitch things out, I make things. So it's a really fun way to kind of increase the amount of things that you use. Now, we know that some people obviously use Hatch for many business type purposes, and we're hoping that for some of you, you might see some of these projects that we're suggesting and think, oh, that's a great niche, I could do that. Or if you're going to your local farmers markets or you have different markets coming up, you would actually be able to make these to go ahead. All right, I can see the chat moving, so I'm going to have a little bit of a look. We've got some more people in from North Queensland and some different places, so thank you all so much for joining in. And one of the things I really wanted to ask this week is if you have anything in particular that you would like us to see or show you on a live stream, to drop it in the comments for us. So I asked last week, but I asked right at the end and didn't give people enough time to actually put their suggestions out there. So if there is anything that you would particularly like to see, or if there's something that we can point you towards within the academy, you're like, I want to learn how to do this, then that's always a great way to come to us and say, hey, we've got extra things. So if you're watching today, drop those into the chat and we will make a little list and get around to them as much as possible. The other things I wanted to mention this week is don't forget about that FlexPay promo. So if you are looking to get Hatch, it is a really wonderful way to save yourself a little bit of money with it, because obviously the FlexPay promo is to help you with that. But also it means that you get to spread out the cost of Hatch over many months, which is quite a nice way to do it. But I just really wanted to let everyone know that it's not a subscription. So from the first month of joining in with the FlexPay option, you get access to the level that you have purchased, and then you just pay that off over the 12 months. So after the 12 months, it's entirely yours. You don't have to pay any extra. So as I said, check it all out. All of the information of the promo is there on the website, and you can read all about FlexPay if it is something that is new to you and you don't know what it is, because I had a few questions pop up on socials yesterday of people like, I'm not sure what it is. So I thought I'd take the time today to explain it to you all so that would help. So Terry is asking if there is a live event every week. No, at present, it is not every week. It is every other week. So next week I won't be here. And the following week I will be. So it's every other Thursday. If you want to know in advance about any of the live streams, if you are following us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell. What happens with the little bell is you'll actually get a little notification. So it's normally within before an hour or so before the live stream starts, it will actually say live stream upcoming. And then often once the live stream starts, you'll get a little notification to say hatch is live. So be sure to try and do that if you would like to follow us. On Facebook, it's sometimes a little bit harder to find the live stream until it goes live because it's on our hatch, so our hatch page, not our hatch user page, so on our hatch page, but sometimes you have to go along through video and find live. Some people find that a little trickier. So if you do find that a little trickier, I do find the YouTube one a little bit easier. It's a great way to do it. The other thing would be if you follow us on any of our social medias, we do try and tell you in advance when we are going to be up live and normally give you an idea of the topic. So if you've got lots of things on that week, you can always catch the replay, but you can't ask the questions and everything. All right, so I've got some more questions in the chat, so we're going to go back to the chat. So, oh yes, the team is also reminding people that if you want font packs, there you can get 3 free font packs with the FlexPay promo, and there is also the if you already have Hatch, don't forget you can actually purchase the pack which has the puffy and 3D fonts as well. So if that's something that's really interesting to you, you can check that out and buy that as a separate piece as well. And people are asking, can you digitize from a bitmap? Artwork insert is how I normally do it. Do check how your resolution sometimes. Sometimes I find with the bitmaps, they can be a little bit pixelated. So depending on the level of artwork that you're working with, sometimes I do convert it just because it makes it a little bit easier to actually do that. I'll try and see if I can make a little video for that for you though. So I'm going to try and see if I can do that. Someone's asking if there is a lesson for doing a key fob with a name and the bean stitch edging. Yes, there is. I don't actually have my sample here. I quite often do. So there is a lesson in the Academy called Patches and More, I want to say. And what it is, it's got a lovely picture of a basketball and a soccer ball, and it shows you how to take patches and create key fobs. The other one is we have done key fobs with KDC fonts in January this year as part of on the blog. So if you go onto the Hatch blog in January this year, you will also find more information about key fobs there as well. So you should be able to find that one. Gail is asking about how to create in the hoop projects with joins for an industrial style embroidery machine. Do you just mean a bigger embroidery machine, Gail, like as in a multi-needle, or are you using a multi-head multi-needle machine? It should be able to work that one either way there. And Lindy has come through with the good information about the Academy and said, yes, there is a class there on that one as well. So thank you for that, Lindy. That was fantastic. Yes, Terry is saying she finds the emails very helpful. So thank you so much for that, because the live stream is the middle of the night for her. So thank you so much for getting up, because that's a tough call to do that for you. We've got some people saying they've been using Hatch for about a year and they've also mastered it. We love hearing that. And they're using very artistic embroidery designs inspired by landscape and nature. That sounds wonderful, Ven. If you've got time, can you pop some of those in the Hatch Facebook group? Our Facebook group is fantastic if you've got extra questions, but my own personal favorite part is I love seeing what you all create. So Van, if you've got some time, we would love to see those in the Facebook group. It would be lots of fun. All right, Gail has answered me and said she has a multi-needle machine, not a multi-head machine. So yes, we will talk more about in the hoop designs. I'll add that to my list for you. All right. Oh, and the team has found beyond the charms beyond the basic patch. So thank you so much, team, for doing that, because I do know that you are working remotely, so that is a little tricky for you. All right, that has been a wonderful live stream. Thank you all so much for joining in. It has been wonderful. What I am going to do is in a couple of hours, once YouTube has rendered this, because I don't have any access over that, I'm going to make sure it is definitely available in multiple languages. I'm sorry if the closed captioning hasn't worked. I'm going to keep working on that one for those of you who are listening in different languages. We're going to make sure that it gets there for you. So we're going to keep working on that. Other than that, thank you all so much for joining in, and be sure to sign up for the Hatch newsletter so that you too can create your own Christmas in July cards. All right, we'll see you again in a fortnight. Okay, bye everyone.